Assalamu alaikum students, how are you all? Hope you would be doing great. So as you know, we were discussing the last phase of our lectures that was related with the analysis, and today we are going to discuss with the descriptive statistics. But before going to the analysis, I'm going to have some kind of revision related to SPSS and what you have studied right now. So first of all, let us suppose forget about the marketing research data. That can be any kind of data. So you have learned there are two kinds of data: primary data and secondary data. But as I told you, I am the person to deal with the primary data, so we will be stick with the primary data. Then primary data has two kinds, or has two kind of nature has two forms of data, that is what qualitative data and quantitative data, and we will not be doing analysis. I have covered you the methods of collecting, such as group discussion and interview, depth interview, like the techniques. I have covered the techniques in your lectures, but I told you that we will not be doing practically these things. Rather, we will be stick to quantitative data. So within quantitative, we have different techniques of collecting data. Let's say suppose casual experimental data, which has cause and effect, some sort of descriptive data, which is like survey data and observation. So we will be stuck with the description and survey data. So further, survey has certain methods. I have already discussed with you through telephone, personal, mail, electronic, and all these things, and these have been discussed with you in theory discussion. This is what you know bit about what is construct. I have already discussed with you that it constructs is a latent variable. And what is a latent variable? Those variables which cannot be measured directly, like let's suppose satisfaction cannot be measured directly. As you measure temperature directly, you measure in centigrade or Fahrenheit directly, but you cannot measure the satisfaction level directly. Rather, you ask certain other questions. So these other questions are said to be as the items per question. As you have developed your skills, you have developed your questionnaire. Within that questionnaires, let us suppose you had implied satisfaction. So implied satisfaction have 4 questions. So these four questions are said to be as the item, or they may be said as a variable. So what is the difference between the construct and variable? Variable is what that can be directly measured, while construct is indirectly measured through certain other constructs. Furthermore, what is a question? You have already covered your lectures, and that you have developed your questionnaire, and you have developed each questions which you ask to the individual, and related to that you have also learn that what kind of questions are unstructured question, open-ended question, closed-ended, dichotomous, and their coding. I have covered that. I have covered this measurement and scaling, nominal, ordinal, interval ratio. Why I am revising all these things? Because when you don't know about all these things, you cannot grip the analysis. So it is very much important to revise these concepts. So these are the scaling techniques, the comparative scales and non-comparative scales. So I told you we will be covering only with the Lakard scale. So SPSS practice you have done, we have done the session. You have been able to right now clear the data, that is missing values, aberrant values, outliers. And today we are going to discuss the descriptive statistics. Descriptive statistics, you have studied whole subject related to inferential statistics and descriptive statistics or business statistics. You have covered these things: mean, median, mode, like that. That is what descriptive statistics. So how you will deal with this? This is what SPSS. So if you are going to analyze some kind of descriptive, here you have tab. In analyze, you will go to the tab. You can see the frequencies, you can see the description, you can make the graphs, but I'll not be covering all these things. Let's say suppose I want to see these descriptive statistics of these 3 things. So you have option what you want to see. If you want to see the standard deviation, variance, range, minimum, maximum, standard error, mean, sum, quartiles, skewness, whatsoever you want to say, just you will have one click and you will get the result of these things. This is standard variation. Yeah, this is what you can, this is what range is for. 1 to 5 is their minimum and maximum. The sum is this, mean of these values is like this, 2.94. We have only data available of age. As you can see that I have not included the rest education, and data is not inserted, rather only this one is okay. Let's say suppose we are going to check once again another thing. Let's say suppose we are, this is what your demographic variables we are not going to check. Let's say suppose we also can check the, this is our one construct, and these are three items, 3 questions, 3 items, and I want to check their descriptive statistics. So you can also ranges for FC1. FC1 is a first item, and its range is 1 to 5. The total sum is 3064, mean is 3.31. This mean is like this, standard deviation, this variance is this. So you can check by yourself. It is not a big deal, so I am not going to discuss the interpretation and all these things, because I suppose this is a prerequisite when you are going to learn the business research, business mathematics, business statistics. That is the prerequisite of this subject, so you all know how to interpret them and all these things. So I am not going to deliver lecture in detail related to this discussion. Rather, I have told you that how you can cover that up. For further details, I am going to show you the SPSS manual. Okay, you can see the SPSS manual from where you can learn many other things. From the table of content, we have covered all these things. Okay, this is what descriptive statistics on let's say suppose we are going on the page number 51. So if we are going to page number 51, this is a part 3 preliminary analysis, or you can, the details are giving what is descriptive, but why I'm not going to define all these things, because when you have learned already, so I need not to explain all these things. The frequencies and all these things are available here, and if you want to revise them, you can have, these are the graphs. You can draw the graphs on the basis of x-axis and y-axis. So I once again consider you know what is x-axis and y-axis and how you can draw all these graphs and details. So this is not the scope of this subject to cover all these things. Rather, you have particularly learned these things, descriptive research, in your previous subject. So as far as SPSS is concerned, I have shown you this is the tape. You can insert each and every variable and you can see different kind of descriptive statistics tests. If you have any query or concern, you may contact with me. Okay, thank you. Allah Hafiz.